Hi, I'm STÖK, and this is Bounty Thursdays. And this show is all about the things related to cybersecurity, pen testing, offensive security, bug bounties, and the community that surrounds it. But first, a quick disclaimer. Any tools, scripts, or techniques that you see on this show is for educational purposes only. All credits go to the initial author, and I take no responsibility on how you use this information. So make sure you read the code, study up on the techniques, and understand what it does before you fire it away. And if it's your first time around here, I would like to say hi, happy to have you. But if you are a returning viewer of this channel, you are now by design a member of the Good Vibes Only Squad. Please type Vibe Squad in the comments below so I know who you are and I can interact with you further. I still don't have a Discord and I probably will not, but you can leave in my comments and I will interact with you there. So either smash a comment here or just hit me up over at twitter.com/Stokefrederick. So your favorite content discovery virtual host fuzzer ffuf has been updated to version 1.2.1, and there's a couple of new features in there. One that's really nice if you're hacking on a target where you're not allowed to send as much traffic as you want, rate limiting. And this might seem ridiculous, but it's very, very useful on those programs that don't let you chug everything at it and just go batshit crazy. So this is a good thing to make sure that you don't take servers down and stay under the radar and all that stuff. It also comes with a config file support now, so you can prepare everything you want and have that configured within. This is perfect for any kind of automation flow. So yeah, upgrade your ffuf installation today. Okay, so Omar Beta has done it again. Last time he smashed out this epic list of dorks over at his GitHub repo. It's ob.12/gitdorker, and there you can find over 500 easy dorks that are very useful if you're searching for information inside GitHub repos. It's currently updated to version 3 and now have over 500 different dorks. So if you're into digging into GitHub repos, maybe this is for you. So maybe you are super interested in digging deep into those nice JavaScript files to find some weird bugs or endpoints that you might just be able to, find the juicy stuff. Malloc has dropped a couple of tools, but just released his JavaScript Recon write-up workflow thingy, where he just explains his way of doing JavaScript Recon. And there's a bunch of nice tools in there that you might just want to check out, and some examples how to run them, and how he does his work with the kind of information, or with that kind of information, and how he approaches the findings inside there. So if you're interested in looking for bugs inside JavaScript and that's your thing, check out Malloc's GitHub repo. So let's say you're testing for authorization bugs or IDORs or something, and you're using multiple accounts. Firefox multi-account containers is an add-on for Firefox by Firefox, and it has a good amount of 5-star ratings. I would suggest that this is probably one of those trustworthy applications you can run. But what's really cool with it is that if you're testing an app and you want to have separated logins from and being able to switch between those, this is a very easy way to do that. Let's say you're testing a admin user or admin manager kind of set up on a website, and then you log in with all these different users. Maybe you're even automating some of the parts using authorize, but it will give you a really nice and easy way to keep those identities apart. So if you're into testing multiple accounts and doing it easy for you, I would suggest checking out Firefox multi-account containers. So a while back we talked about Shubs and his return to the content creation scene with publishing really cool write-ups and a couple of videos. Now he's back again and dropping some really nice blind SSRF change information over at the assetnote.io blog. It seems like it started with a conversation between him and Rhinorator on, how to make blind SSRF great again in a way. So, and a lot of people in the community just joined in, and right now it's a really, really, really good blog with a lot of information in there. Is explaining the different techniques and things you can do once you find that blind SSRF and you want to escalate it a bit, because just reporting a blind SSRF without no impact is kind of like meh, but you want to get that escalated at least to a high or a nice crit or a P1 depending on, or excellent depending on what kind of platform you're using. So if you're interested in blind SSRFs, I know I am, do check out blog.assetnote.io for that blog and dig into it. And this show is sponsored by no other than the amazing people over at Integrity. So if you want to hack on some European companies and get paid in euros and have a really nice triage experience, I recommend that you give their platform a try. There's always new programs coming in. Some of them might just require you to get some ID verification, but overall it's a really, really good experience. And if you haven't hacked on their platform before, do use my sign up link here below. That means that the marketing team's gonna know that your traffic came from me and they're gonna be all happy about it, which means they're probably gonna sponsor my show some more. That's awesome. So I definitely suggest that you give Integrity a try. Also, make sure you sign up for their newsletter. It's amazing and it's filled with so much information. It's always been curated to the extent by Pentesrterland. She does an amazing job at that. So please do check out their newsletter and sign up if you already haven't. So, content creator VLHE is back again and has been dropping a couple of videos lately, growing their channel. And what I can see, there's a lot of cool things coming out, especially maybe more in the basic areas, but there's a lot of very informative stuff for you to dig into. I definitely recommend you to check out their channel. And I think the latest one is related to CSRF. And if that's your kind of game, I would also recommend you to head over to OX Infection's GitHub and check out XSRFProbe. And it's an advanced cross-site request forgery audit and exploitation toolkit. Equipped with powerful crawling engine and numerous systematic checks, it's able to detect almost all cases of CSRF vulnerabilities, their related bypasses, and further generate maliciously exploitable proof of concept with each found vulnerability. For more information and see how it works, check out the XSRFProbe internals on the wiki. I haven't tried this tool, but it looks colorful, nice, and very well written. There's a lot of wiki and information related to it. So if that's something you're into, definitely check that out. So HackerOne is currently running the H1 2102 virtual live hacking event together with Shopify. The design on this event looks really cool. I always love the graphics that surround a well-produced live hacking event. And even though this is one of the smaller ones that don't have all these live settings going on, it's really cool that we're back on the at least virtual live hacking event circuit again. I personally just can't wait for the virtual live hacking event circuit to be over and we get back again to the magnificent and wonderful live hacking event circuit where we actually get to meet each other and hack together. I miss that dearly, so let's just make that great again too. Virtual live hacking events is cool, but real live hacking events is cooler. If you missed the chance to be a part of the voting process when it comes to the top 10 hacking techniques of 2020 that James Kettle together with Portswigger puts together, no problem. You can still get into their website and look at the nominees, the reports that has been nominated. these are really cool research. And if you're into web app testing and you want to dig into some of the newer techniques or some of the quirky things that go on, I would suggest that you head over to that blog post and read every single of those reports, because they have been selected for a good reason. So get in there, read this report, and just dig deep into it. The results will be presented somewhere mid-February, if I'm not mistaken. So let's just hope that our favorite contenders win. Maybe you're just like me and like to store everything on your Recon data in text files that you grep through, and you get a lot of text files, and it's going to be quite organized or, well, very unorganized depending on what you do. Peter Honoki solved this by introducing the BBRF, the Bug Bounty Reconnaissance Framework. And the other day I saw that Pry has been working on a way to implement this to be built into Axiom. I mean, couldn't it be simpler? That means that we could just get data from our works collected into that stored database and then just egress data out of it when we need it. Maybe even send it over to our master database where we store everything for long term. Because the whole thing here is that it's important for you to store your data over time, because yeah, that's data that you want to get back to, especially if you're testing things over time. When you see, okay, so this scope has changed, what's there now? Continuous monitoring is something that I personally need to get better at, and I already hope that you're smashing. So if you're interested in playing around and testing the Bug Bounty Recon framework, I recommend you to check out that GitHub repo. So now appsec has been changing up his game lately, and instead of the normal format he had on Sunday, when he invites a hacker and talks about Recon, he's been doing some Recon live together with, I definitely saw Patrick was on there, and now I heard Tom Nom Nom was on there too. I mean, that's really cool. Hacking on a live target or doing Recon together on a target where, yeah, they're allowed to hack on. I think last time it was Snapchat, not sure though. But this is really cool. If you want to join his Sundays on his Twitch, do check that out, because I'm not sure if there ever going to be a video on demand for it. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just not informed well enough. But Sundays, live Recon with appsec, new twists, actually reconning on cool targets with other hackers, so you can learn cool techniques. Nice. Okay, we usually talk about web here. It's primarily, hey, I get it, it's called Bounty Thursdays. It kind of makes sense. But if you, like me, have a blue team background, a good old lab for an Active Directory to pen test your stuff and run a little bit of Bloodhound on from now and then, or just play around with. Maybe there is something that you need to spin up in Windows and you want that all prepared and see how you can do your movement. So the tool is named AD Penetration Testing Lab, and it's created by Brown InfoSec guy. It's currently in a low version, but it's pretty cool. What it does for you is that it automates the setup of a domain controller together with a workstation. So you have a really easy get started situation. And that's it. You can set up a lab within minutes, and if you haven't dabbled around or played with Active Directory before, I recommend you to do it. It's really fun, and it's a good thing to know if you're heading into enterprises. Oh, wait, what's this? Check. Wow, this is exciting times. Hey, Kodingo, how's life?
Hey, how's it going? Life is good. Life is good.
I talked earlier about that ffuf has been upgraded to a new version where it allows you to limit your speed, right? And that's good. So, and you created some really amazing walkthrough on that subject. What have you been up to lately? Have you got anything new, juicy stuff to drop for us?
I am still making videos on other people's tools. So I've got Axiom, because all I hear about in my DMs, everything is when's an Axiom video and all that. So I'm pretty excited to cover that. Which I think is a good fit, because Interlace is a core of that, which I wrote with Sajid Lahani. So going to do Interlace, do Axiom, and then I'm going to start dropping some new tools with videos, I think. Like I want to get back to authoring stuff, and it's a good way to motivate, right?
But you're still full-time over at Bugcrowd?
Yeah. I did 11 hours of phone calls today before this. So yeah, it's still pretty intense. I love it though. you know, I have a pretty high work capacity, so that helps.
How do you even have time over to do the fun stuff on the side, like coding your stuff?
I don't know. It's one of the I've done. So I even as a pen tester, like I did GitHub a lot on my own time and did that. I did bug bounties on my own time. It's structure. So like I do 5 to 5 at work, hard stop, and then family time. I've just come out of putting my son down for the night and reading him a story, play with him for a few hours, and then, you know, some nights my wife and I'll do something. Sometimes we each have our own time, and when we do that, I'll code or knock videos out, or, you know, it's my hobby is my work, which is a weird overlap, but I really enjoy it.
That's one of the things that you should try to avoid, is to have your hobby as your work, because it all turns into work in the end. And but I understand that. I understand that you've been you got Farah on your team too, right? And she's been dropping some really interesting community stuff lately. What's up with that? Have you heard if she's dropping anything new?
She is, yeah. I'm sure she's fine if I talk about this. I got a sneak peek at a video she's dropping. I'd say the next couple of days. It's pretty polished. Which so she's going to be coming out with some stuff that's more on the triage perspective. So we've been, you know, I mean, being in triage, there's always that sensitivity of making sure like what you see is kept confidential. So it's a really fine line. I admire that she's taking a lot of care with it. So there's more of that, you know, kind of perspective of what it looks like from our side to the researcher side to communicate across the boundary better. And I think it's a really awesome topic to dig into. So
yeah, and it's something that most of us that are not on the triage side are pretty, you know, it would be interesting. I would love to intern for a day or two to just understand.
I get that. That's my most
common.
Yeah, it's my most common DM actually. There's so many people that want to intern for triage, and the irony of it is that it's actually the worst motivation in triage is if they just want to see the queue, because it's the sensitivity behind it, right? We have to take that pretty seriously. Like for myself, like I essentially have given up hunting whilst I'm in this role, because it's just, there's that conflict that sits there. So unless something's like completely not going to touch my realm, and a lot of things do, but I just can't touch it.
For sure.
And so it makes this interesting balance where it's different for a triager, because we can separate them from programs and make sure, you know, but there's a lot of gateways and barriers there. But it also means if someone's motivation is, hey, I want to work on the triage team so I can see these bugs and stuff, it's kind of set some warning bells off. So
you shouldn't really see the queue. But then again, it's an interesting perspective, especially if you're only on the reporting side. We're sending things in and getting all our bounty fever, saying we can't sleep, and we're up F5ing everything and hoping to get that report sorted. And somebody's on the other end just working their ass off. So it still would be, if you guys ever come up with the idea to create the day in the life of a triager, and people just not being crying and sad, but happy and all good, let's make that happen. I would love to see that.
It'd be an interesting take, actually. It's because I'll jump in queue myself quite a bit, just so I understand. Like I'm in a management role and I'm overseeing a team, but I make sure I still have that context. So it would be interesting to cover something like that, I think.
Cool. Is there any have you seen anything fun on Twitter lately? Any tools, any stuff that you want to share?
It's really exciting. There's more creators popping up this year. Like that trend's continuing, where we're seeing different types of creators too. There's some really good, and I say different, like Live Overflow's done this to such an incredible degree, but there's some new binary people popping up too, which I've really enjoyed. The variety, I think, is starting to mix in a bit more, and it'll be fun to see this year, I think.
I talked about virtual live hacking events a while back. Do you know if Bugcrowd is coming back to the scene again, or is that something that's been on the afterburner for eternity?
It's...
Oh yeah, I can see the nod though. I see the nod. The nod is enough. Yeah. The nod is enough. So okay, in theory, there could be live hacking events coming out from Bugcrowd in the future. Who knows? Who knows?
It's a difficult position always when I riff on these things, because there's always that like second how much trouble would I get in for talking about XYZ or something? You know, it's always same with, you know, doing video content. It's that second guess. But
oh yep, yeah. See, what you didn't say, you don't know. So okay, that's all good. That's all good.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you for just giving me a call and hopping on the show. I love to see the things that are coming from your end in a near future.
Thank you. Cheers, mate.
Thanks. I mean, it's so awesome to have friends like Codingo on the show, and this is something that I'm going to try to do continuously. Who knows who's going to join? And if you're interested in getting on here and maybe talking about your tool, or if you have some other ideas that you want to, you build on, reach out and let's do some fun things together. So Ron Chan recently dropped his new tool called API Security Scanner and created a video to it so you can see how it works. But in short, the whole idea is to help you to automate finding authorization bugs in APIs. So you'll get some authentication bearer and some users and endpoints in there, and this can use continuously just monitor or combining a manual test set with an automated one to see if there's any authorization changes within the API. This is a nice take because automation scanners usually just look for XSSs and CLIs and certain stuff. And testing this kind of area is not something that a lot of people do. And if you run a program or if you are a developer and you want to make sure that, hey, you made sure that your API is actually secure, this is a good way for you to test that out too. And for hunters that are wanting to stay on top of the API to see if there's new stuff coming out, this is a good way too. So definitely do check that video out. If you like the things that I do and want to be a bigger part of it, you can always join me over at Twitter and communicate there at STÖK. I'm also on Instagram at STÖK, over at LinkedIn. I'm a little bit all over the social platforms, really. So you can also support the show by becoming a Patreon. You can do that. Or if you want to be a sponsor of the show, reach out and maybe, we can do some fun stuff together. If you have any ideas, any tools or things that you want to share, tag me and I'll make sure that I try to feature it or maybe just even bring you on the show for the fun of it. So until next time, have a good time and stay curious.